Switch to my slides. I'm not moving quick enough. Here we are. Oh, but my music isn't playing. What's that? Mm-hmm. Play some music. Go back to my slides. There.
There we go.
Y'all, I was still jamming while I was turning off the YouTube music. It's been a fan fave in the office for a minute. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to see everybody in the comments already. Lakeitha, hello. Sasha, hello. John, hello. Silent viewers, hello. Would love to hear from y'all in the chat with your name and the answer to our check-in question. But we can start first. And we have a lovely tech person, Angie, who's gonna take us live, sharing our slides. And then myself and the rest of our panel here can just do some introductions. All the screens, y'all. All the screens going crazy. Okay, boom. Here we are. We ready. We here. So welcome to Angie, if you can go back to our first screen, please, our first slide, please. Welcome to this Facebook Live, the first of the year, maybe first in a while for sure. But we are so excited, myself and the Northwest Side cohort that's leading our food campaign this year. We're so excited to have y'all and to talk a little bit about, just a little bit about the food campaign that we're launching here in May. Hopefully you've seen on social media, on our website and newsletters. Wherever you follow art, you've seen that we're launching this campaign in May. It's been over a year in the making, so we're super excited to be with y'all and to talk about it tonight. Please share this live. If you're watching, please share with your people so they can get all this good information. Love to spread the good news. And as we get settled and more people come in, let us know you're here in the chat by dropping your name in the chat and dropping a response to this question. Those of us on screen here can model. My name is Raisha Farmer. I'm the community program manager at AART. I help to curate community programs, leadership experiences, and opportunities for Northwest Side residents to get active, including many of the people on the call here tonight, some people in the chat even. And what comes to mind when you hear we deserve to eat with dignity and choice? What comes to mind for Raisha is I was thinking about this earlier, just like the ease at which I would like to be able. Some of the people from my base are texting me. The ease at which I would like to be able to get my groceries. I remember a couple years ago reaching out to my Alderwoman Larissa Taylor. One of the alder folks will be trying to engage and apply some pressure to through this campaign and mentioning like, man, these gas stations and these convenience stores that are closest to me are not selling healthy food. They are selling unexpired food. Man, what are we doing about that? And so that means that I have to go an extra step to get in my car and drive a little bit to go to the local pick and save, which also don't sell fresh, amazing food all the time, can also be expired. And I would love to not have to do that. I would love to have local grocery stores that are, closer to me than 15-minute drive, honestly. And I can get food that's healthy and it's not expired. And also, it reminds me of my culture. I intentionally live on the Northwest Side because I love living around Black people. Um, and so I would also love for my local grocery stores, my local food providers to be Black if they can be, or at least sell cultural foods because a lot of Black folks live on the Northwest Side. So I think about ease, and I think about culture, and I think about dignity and choice. Who wants to answer the question next? I saw Mrs. Tucker, you were in our Zoom chat with the response. You want to introduce yourself and answer our question? What comes to mind when you hear we deserve to eat with dignity and choice?
Hello, my name is Shirley Tucker, and I am an AART member. And I think of being able to, that I deserve to eat satisfied and I deserve to eat the best.
Mm-hmm. And you do. Satisfied, the
Yes.
best. Love that. Lolita, you want to jump in? You ready?
Hello, I'm Lolita Williams. I'm also an art member. And when I think about we deserve to eat with dignity and choice, I think about growing up in Racine, where we would walk to the grocery store. We knew the grocery store owners. We were able to get the food that we needed, and there wasn't complaints. But if there was something that you had an interaction that you didn't like, you knew to talk to Mr. Johnson or whoever was in your neighborhood and who owned the grocery store to get it rectified.
Mm-hmm. I know that's right. I often talk about not just grocery stores, but what if our restaurant owners knew the people they worked with, knew their clientele? Um, and if there was an issue in their restaurant or their establishment, we could go directly to the manager, to the owner, and talk about those things. Excuse me, y'all. My throat needs to clear. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm gonna pass it to Delisha. Last but not least on the call. What's your response to our question and introduce
Hey
yourself?
everybody, I'm Delisha, and what comes to mind is actually what I feel is in walking distance for me in the summertime is actually choosing to go to a Asian marketplace near my home instead of the pick and save that's across the street because for me, I'm um I'm not happy with having to show my receipt and have all my stuff checked when you spend a long time in line and then you have to get your receipt checked and the little highlight. I'm not happy with that. So I choose to go across the street to the Asian market where it's more friendly. It
Mhm.
has healthier options, fresh food, some hot food, and I just enjoy knowing that those ingredients are fresh and they care about their culture and the environment, and I can be a part of helping that community's grocery store thrive.
Fresh food, culture, options, types of food, healthy food, no security checks. I deserve the best. What else am I seeing in the chat? Lakita says she thinks of having the right to have healthy food options and places near her to shop for them. Love that. Sasha says having access to fresh, nutritious food that allows dignity is a human right that should not depend on your zip code or economic status. I know that's right, Sasha. And John says, what I hear, we deserve to eat with dignity and choice. I hear we deserve to be treated with humanity, period. I know that is right. Keep throwing your introductions and your responses in the chat. We love to hear those. This is really just informing a conversation we've been having as a team that's working to run the campaign. We know that the ability to choose what we eat is pretty self-explanatory when we think about like choice, right? But as we lead the campaign, we're grappling with this question around dignity and what that means. We're grappling because last year's cohort came up with the sort of tagline of the campaign, we deserve to eat with dignity and choice. Um, and we know that it can mean different things for different people. And we want to invite the community into the conversation around defining dignity and really making clear what that means. And so continue to drop your responses in the chat. One last thing around dignity I'll offer is one of AART's values that we don't talk too often about, but is an AART value, is dignity. And we took time with our staff, our members, and our board to define what dignity means. We said it means maintaining a sense of self, consistently upholding collective values, and holding pride and connection to ancestry with recognition of that of others. So when I think about that definition, I think about yeah, some of the things that we're talking about in terms of culture, again, no security checks, having being able to eat our own, ethnic foods, talking about the Asian market, shout out to the Asian market and African markets. So that's another thing I'll offer. Another thing that's come up is our intentionality around defining a food desert versus a food apartheid. Again, these are conversations we're still in, but one of our member leaders who was on the cohort last year named Natea, she distinguishes between the two as when you think of food deserts, you think of like the distance to get to a grocery store. When you think of food apartheid, you think of is the experience dignified? And what are the systemic things in place that make food access in any given area dignified or not? Again, keep introducing yourselves in the chat. Keep dropping responses to the question in the chat. We're about to get going. Share the live. And then if you have any questions throughout the live, please do drop those in the chat. We'll answer those later. Let's go to our next side. I want to talk a little bit about how we got to this campaign. How the heck did we decide we was going to do this campaign on the Northwest side? Who told us we could come in and run this, right? Well, it's been a journey. Starting with, I would say, Liberate MKE, which is a campaign that we sunset last year after a big win we're excited about and many years of organizing. We launched it first in 2019. This was even before my time, y'all, on staff. We launched it in 2019, and it was a campaign invested in the question, how can we improve safety? This is a time when there's way more attention on police brutality in the country, especially in Milwaukee. And people are having questions about, if we gave more money to police, if we did body cameras, if we did X, Y, and Z, will we keep us safe? And our executive director, who I was not ED at the time, was director at the time, got hold of the Milwaukee city budget, and was able to see this chart that outlines where percentages of the city budget go. Saw that on average, and this remained consistent between 2019 and last year, within maybe 2 to 3% difference over the years, 46% of the city budget goes to police. Meanwhile, the health department, libraries, neighborhoods, all these other entities that are in the city budget receive fractions. I'm talking less than 10%, a fraction of that amount. So Liberate MKE uh, threw us into a bunch of questions around safety. How do we define community safety, alternatives to safety? And ART went on this pursuit around safety and just what that means. We had leadership development cohorts to train other people on how to run campaigns around safety. We ran a campaign for about 6 years, six years. And that led us into so much other work as the city started to ask questions like, what does it mean to invest in alternatives to safety? Where are we going to put this money if not police, right? Because we know that people have a notion that safety, unfortunately, people have a notion that safety equals police because that's the world we've been living in. The people who have been keeping us safe this time, to our understanding, have been police. It's our job as an organization to get people to think, why do we think that? And what else is possible? Let's go to the next slide, Angie. And so we continue to do more work, and we continue to ground on the Northwest side, realizing there was strategic opportunity to organize people on the Northwest side, on the far Northwest side of Milwaukee. I'm talking upwards of 76 in Capitol to like 124th County Line Road and Brown Deer. Right. No one was organizing in the area, not deeply, not over long periods of time. And yet decisions were being made on behalf of Northwest Siders without them being engaged in those processes. And so we said, let's talk to people on the Northwest Side. Let's understand their stories. Let's organize them and get them engaged. And we started to do like a Northwest Side asset map that Angie is going to drop into the chat for y'all to be able to see. When they asked, where do we put the money? We said, here's 150 places that you could think about putting the money instead of police to meet people's basic needs, because basic needs support people's safety. We started to fight for something called participatory budgeting, which gives everyday people the ability to make decisions about where the city budget dollars go. A large fraction of the budget dollars is our tax dollars. And so get involved in decisions around where them taxes that they take out of your check go, okay? We engage people in a process like that. One of those people is our very own Mrs. Tucker, who's on the call. So I want to just pose a question to our girl. Mrs. Tucker, you were one of ART's longest standing members when we started membership back in 2022, maybe. I think you were one of our first members. And you worked on ART's former participatory budgeting committee when we gave away 40,000 of our own dollars as a test to explore a participatory budgeting process in Milwaukee. We gave away $40,000 on the Northwest Side, and you were involved in that committee and that decision-making process, as well as many other things as an ART member. How would you say that our previous work and our previous wins as an organization lay ground for success in this new campaign?
Well, I'm going to go back to the time when I started being involved with ART. I started being involved a little bit in 2019, but when ART moved to the current location, I started doing more volunteer work, hospitality, just being a gopher, those types of things. And out of that, I started attending meetings, city meetings that I was invited to by ART. I had never attended a city budget meeting or any type of city meeting. And I'm not sure why I never had done that before, but I had not. So my attention, I started to get aroused by the work that ART was doing. So I remember attending a meeting and I was given an opportunity to speak. And that is when ART was really on the city about the budget, like 47 and 48% of the budget was going toward the police department. So I was very involved in that. And I enjoyed seeing the passion that Art had. And at the time, the city did not agree to participatory budgeting, but they heard Art talking about it. So then Art developed their own participatory budgeting committee, and I became a member of that committee. I'm sorry, and it was an intergenerational group of people, and I learned so much from the entire group, not only from Devin, our leader, but from other young people, putting the ideas together, getting the community involved. Um, I found that Art had such a passion for the Black people, especially on the northwest side of town. And it was a lot of communicating to neighbors, sharing, sending flyers, and those types of things. And that budget had $40,000 in it, and a certain number of organizations were able to apply for funds. And at the end, 4 organizations were selected, and they won $10,000 each. And those organizations were able to do whatever they needed to do for their communities or for their groups. And we had this lovely get together where all of the winners were able to participate, to just let everybody know what that meant to them. And so from that time on, I've continued to be part of Art because I like the mission. I see what they're doing. I see how Art gets involved in the community. Art finds a way to try to make sure that everybody is aware of what's within the city you can be a part of. So I just continue to work with Art, and I'm excited to be a part of Art. I'm like a cheerleader for Art. I'm always sharing about Art because I like the work that Art is doing. So I encourage anyone, if you're not a part of Art, to find a way to be part of Art, even if you're volunteering 1 hour a month, 2 hours a month, or whatever. Art is in the business of helping the Black neighborhood, and that just excites me. And from winning the participatory budgeting from the city in 2025, it lets me know the amount of work that Art has put forth, and the pushing and letting the city know we really do mean business has been a win, because we've won that now from the ARPA funds, and I believe we can win even more.
I believe that we will win. Come on, Mrs. Tucker. I heard 2 major things. I heard a lot, but 2 major things I want to pull out of what Mrs. Tucker said. We held our own PB process as an organization, and then we won participatory budgeting at a city level. Clap it up for that in the chat. All the emojis. I see y'all's likes. I see y'all's hearts. I see y'all's everything going. The second thing that I heard is that we develop leaders, and that's our mission, y'all. We develop Black leaders, and we could put Black leaders in position to learn, develop, grow, get active, and get what they want. That sounds like we set up for success to me. Okay. Moving forward to our next slide. After, laying a little ground on the Northwest Side, the asset map, participatory budgeting, just building with Northwest Side residents, we continued to expand our work on the Northwest Side. We were canvassing on the Northwest Side. You can see a picture of me from I don't know what year that was, 2022. We were canvassing on the on the Northwest Side versus just last year. We had our yellow vests. Our Northwest Side cohort was canvassing last year. We started and expanded our Northwest Side Stories. I originally was leading the Northwest Side Stories work. Now Delisha is leading that work. I'm so excited to pass that on to her. And I already mentioned the asset map, where we developed a map of 150 places we can invest in to meet communities' needs and meet safety other than police. And so, Delisha, who's been integral in the Northwest Side Stories work, I want to talk to you and hear from you, because you helped to facilitate some small group discussions and a bunch of conversations through Northwest Side Stories, but also through some visioning sessions that we held top of last year, end of 2024, where we talked to Northwest Side residents, big rooms of Northwest Side residents, about what kind of campaign they wanted to run and be involved in that would support their safety. You helped to facilitate some of those small group discussions. You even captured some of the input that we got from neighbors and community leaders in beautiful Northwest Side Stories last year. For anybody who may be learning of this work for the first time, who's watching this live and it's like, oh, I never heard of this group. I never heard of their work. Can you share what it was like to get input from community neighbors and how that informed our campaign goal and where we're headed?
Yeah. I think the wonderful thing about art is you're going to hear the word intergenerational a lot. I think that's important because we have groups where it's just one age range, but at art, everyone that you would see in your family is represented. Great grandma, grandma, mom, the kid, everyone is represented and everyone has an equal voice. And we use like a collaborative model to like bring together what everyone is sharing to see like where the themes are happening. And with all those different perspectives, what kept popping up was what the best of Milwaukee had to offer in our neighborhoods and what grandparents and parents wanted created or brought back for our youth to experience, because in a short amount of time life drastically changed. And um, every time we looked at the data and retold the stories from those sessions, the theme was food. That was like always like top three was stories and data about food, and it would be surrounded around like the backyard gardens, the fruit trees, the farmer markets, the smells of people cooking, sharing a meal, and how all these memories created a sense of safety and belonging and peace that people wanted back in an urgent way. And so this work and talking to the neighbors and finally saying we have something we can present is super exciting and informed by our neighbors in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. Delisha, you do such a good job of just like synthesizing all of this information that we get from so many places. But you're exactly right. Like people said, safety means I'm in my community and I hear kids laughing and I smell the grill. And it's likely some cultural foods. I think I remember from the notes, somebody was like, it smells like Wildwood sodas. Safety smells like Wildwood sodas. Thriving North West Side smells like Wildwood sodas and a grill going, right? But these are exactly the conversations that we were having in these vision sessions. Thank you for summarizing, Delisha. Let's go to our next slide and just talk a little bit about leadership, right? Mrs. Tucker and Delisha are just two of many amazing leaders that ART has developed and supported on the Northwest Side, and many more in other projects, not specifically pertaining to the Northwest Side. But I want to talk to Lolita because I'm amazed at Lolita's journey myself with art. Lolita, you hit the ground running, okay? As an art member leader for the first time in 2025. Lolita, I texted Lolita one day. She pulled up to our office and she's been riding ever since in a deep way. Lolita, can you share a little bit about your journey with art to this point, including how your leadership has grown and why you continue to support our work?
Sure. So in 2024, I did some leadership coaching. And one of the things that came out of the leadership coaching was a question about what am I doing for the greater community? At the time, I was like, nothing, not getting in trouble, drinking water. But it was something that truly like stuck with me. And at that same time, I started to see billboards on the Northwest Side about the police budget and also about the asset map. So then I started going online and looking at what does art do? Like, who is art? And then I started to go to like the events. But even when I was going to the events, I was like, I'm just going to go set up tables, clean up, and that's it. And so that's what I would do. But they have really like asked, and because of the work that they do, I've been able to participate and give more. So, like working with this organization, I feel like it has stretched me to come out of the background of just cleaning up it just setting up tables, but truly like displaying the leadership skills, the learning about how to set up campaigns, also how to advocate. Like they're very, very invested in this community, and they're invested in ensuring that the Northwest Side and Milwaukee residents thrive. And there's nothing better. I would also say I've been able to participate and give my 100% all because I can bring my daughter. And I feel like it's so important for her to see people working together to make sure that the Black community grows and thrives. And that's one of the main reasons why I continue to participate, because I know that she sees it and it's going to plant a seed in her to ensure that she makes sure that wherever she is, she's working to make it better. I love this organization. I really do. They don't just say that they're about, making life better, but they're working every day. And I know that everyone that I've worked with in this organization, volunteers, cohort leaders, we're all constantly thinking about how can we give our all? How can we make it better? How can we win these campaigns? And I love that about this group.
Lolita, we love you back. Number one. But yeah, I'm so proud of y'all three. I'm so proud of the cohort from last year. I'm so proud of all the stipend leaders. There's probably 30 something, if I were to, guesstimate, 30 something leaders across the organization who are residents who give, yes, like they're all to this organization. In addition to the staff, we could not do it without y'all. We're so grateful for y'all. And I'm glad that Lolita, you see so much value in the experiences you had in just the last year, both for you and for your baby. I love seeing our little nieces and nephews running around our meetings in our office. I love seeing it very much because what they say, start them young. Start them young. So I'm glad we can be that space for you. And we want to continue to invite other people into the space. You can come in and just be behind the tables. That's okay too. We need that too. Okay. We need somebody to just set up the tables. We need somebody to just come in the office and flip through some papers and maybe stuff some envelopes. We need folks at all levels of the work. And so let's talk about where we're going and how y'all can get involved on the next slide. You may have seen images like this again on social media, our website, our newsletters. But just to summarize what we're doing, we are launching a campaign in May to win greater food access. What does greater food access mean? What we got from residents is specifically we want healthy and fresh foods in local grocery stores, in local farmers markets, in local community gardens, and we want nutritional education programs about how do we acquire our local healthy and fresh foods. What are all the places that we can get it? About how do we work with those foods? How do I take this item from a garden, harvest it, and prepare a healthy meal for my family? How do we work with the soil? How do we can and preserve? All of those things are things that we heard from people over the last year or so as we were working on this campaign. But in a nutshell, we need to be educated. It's not enough just for us to have access. We need to be educated about these things as well. Both us as people who are consuming and providers, the local grocery store owners, the farmers in the farmers markets, all of those things. And how we're going to do it is we're going to run this campaign where first we're going to organize our people. We got to get more people in the mix. We've been saying for years, our movement needs more people. We're so excited to have grown our membership program for Black Milwaukeeans to 100 plus members to this point. We need more. We need more. It's going to take more for us to win greater food access. So we want to organize. We want to educate y'all. We want to get y'all involved in the work. And then in our second phase, we want to apply some pressure. We're going to take some actions. We'll be I'm not gonna give all the business away because you never know who's watching, but we're gonna take some action so that we can apply some pressure to, specifically because we have Northwest Side leaders at the helm of this campaign and we know it is strategic to organize on Northwest Side. We want to specifically apply some pressure to alders Lamont Westmoreland and Larissa Taylor on the far Northwest Side so that they create a bill saying we're going to invest in something called the Milwaukee Fresh Food Fund. This is not a new fund. This is a fund that existed some years ago. It helped to get things started, like the Milwaukee Fresh Food Bus, one of my favorite things to ever exist in Milwaukee, like the Sherman Park grocery store. Some of us know the cost of action they have just to stay open right now. The Milwaukee Fresh Food Fund helps to get those projects and many others started in the first place. And this is circa 2020, between 2022 and 2020. We want the alders to write a bill to reinvest in that fund because it hasn't been invested in since 2024. And we know that food access is not something that you win one time, not something that you invest in one time and then it's taken care of forever. And we know the climate right now. Grocery stores are closing. The food pantries and food banks are overwhelmed, either from not enough resources or from too much responsibility to provide food access for communities, or a mixture of both. Many other things happening that affect our ability to access food. And so we know that we cannot rely on outside entities to meet our food access needs. We have to take some local responsibility. And some of that starts with us organizing. Another bit of it starts with our alders, our decision makers who have the power to make city budget decisions, to make a decision to invest in this Milwaukee Fresh Food Fund. After we get some commitments from them, after we apply some pressure, we hope to get some commitments from them, excuse me. We hope that they write the bill and introduce it. And then we'll either celebrate that victory, that's what I'm claiming, or if we don't, because sometimes you lose campaigns, we'll revisit, we'll pivot, and we'll figure out how to run it back until we win. That is our plan in a nutshell. Angie, our awesome tech volunteer, is going to drop into the chat a link where you can give us some feedback on what you think about this plan. What are we missing? What needs to change? What's great and wonderful, and what are you excited about? We want to hear all of that via the feedback form that is coming in the chat right now. That's our plan. Angie, I'm going to invite you to stop sharing your screen, because what we're going to do is hear words of excitement. I'm going to start with, first of all, reading some of the stuff I see in the Facebook chat, because y'all is cracking on the Facebook chat, okay? And I'm so excited about some of the things I see. And if you have any questions about the campaign that you'd like us to answer here on screen, now would be a good time to drop those in the chat as well. We can answer those before we get into some next steps, how you get involved, what we're going to ask you to do over the next month or so. What do I see in this chat? Rick Banks, what up? He says, can I get more options nearby than fried foods? Okay. I'm a pescatarian, y'all. Okay. And my doctor said I cannot just be eating fried catfish. I can't do that. I don't like that my options are fried catfish, or I got to go home and I got to put me some salmon in the oven. I want other options. I know many vegetarians and vegans. Okay. Our cultural foods do not all only have to be fried. I hear you, Rick. Josh, what up? Says, I feel it gives you the support and option to eat what you want. That's dignity and choice, not mandatory unfresh produces. Okay. Not take this unfresh stuff or leave it. I hear you, Josh. Mia, our office manager, says, I think of dignity and I think of being treated as a full human. Eating with dignity and choice is having access to more than the bare minimum. Talk about it. Seeing people affected by grocery store closures as our actual fellow neighbors. People, yeah. We were canvassing, we were talking to neighbors about grocery store closures and when SNAP benefits were down for a while. They were like, the SNAP benefits are the difference between my child getting all the foods that they want, and now we got to pick and choose. Shout out to you, Mia, for bringing that forth. Malisha, our program and logistics coordinator, she thinks about a quality shopping experience and selection of food. Angie, thank you for dropping in the chat. Letting folks know what you are here to do. If you want to think about and offer anything around dignity and choice, Angie, you're more than welcome to. Erica, when she hears we deserve to eat, she thinks about organization. What is nourishing for you to talk about it? No consequences. Unless they're positive consequences, okay? Simone Smith from our board. I'm Simone. What comes to mind? Fresh food and not so many corner stores and bodegas. Yes, I can't wait to see, a food bus, a farmer's market on Northwest Side. I want some of that. Hey, Krista. Hey, Michelle Wilkins. I'm going to move over some of these. I talked about John already. Angela, Dignity means having options, no armed guards at the door. Talk about it. Access to fresh fruit and vegetables, not having to drive outside my neighborhood to find those things. Y'all remember when gas stations used to have fruit baskets? At one time, I think they were free, and then they graduated to maybe you had to pay $1. But either way, the fact that I could walk across the street to the gas station across the street from my place and get an apple, a banana, I miss that. We can get that back. Um, no problem, Sue. What else? Tracy Wofford, what comes to mind for myself is that we all deserve to have full access to healthy and fresh food. I know that's right. Krista says, I think we deserve access to quality foods at affordable prices. Talk about it because the grocery bills are just going up. I bought groceries, y'all. I didn't get nothing but snacks because I just needed to hold myself over because I knew I wasn't going to be cooking a whole lot for a week. I got a week's worth of snacks and like maybe some hygiene stuff, $200. What? Come on now. I should not be paying that much just to eat and live. Because when you think about eating, basic needs to live. I shouldn't have to pay to live, honestly. Crystal says, thank you for loving everything about us, Crystal. We love you back. Thank you for uplifting that we educate folks and inviting folks to get involved. Thank you for blessing us in prayer, Crystal. We love and appreciate you. And Angie says, maintaining a sense of self. Oh, she uplifted our art's definition of dignity. Thank y'all for y'all's comments and for introducing yourselves into the chat and helping to respond to this question about what do you mean by dignity and choice. I don't see any questions in the chat. I'm just double checking. Food is medicine. Yes, Dr. Stephanie. Yes, yes, yes. I don't see any questions. So any final inspiring words from Mrs. Tucker, Lolita, Delisha? We love to hear those before we wrap with some next steps. And I'll keep my eye on the comments for questions. Delisha, you want to go first with final inspiring excitement words?
Yeah, I would just say that it's not hard to be down and get involved. Even if you don't think you have a lot of time or anything to offer, that's not true. We can make space, we can make time, join the team. Food affects all of us. So you're important. We need you.
That's right. Mrs. Tucker, Lolita, which one do y'all want to go next?
I will go next. I encourage everyone to volunteer. And when you volunteer, consider volunteering at a Black organization, and specifically this organization, because of what they mean to the community. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I'm a person, I love to eat what I want to eat. And I would like to be able to go to one grocery store and find what I'm looking for. I don't enjoy going to 3 stores before I can find what I'm looking for. So we really want people to get involved, give us your ideas, and become a part of this campaign, because you added to it can make us a much bigger winner. And that includes all of us.
Speak on it, Mrs. Tucker. Y'all on here. Y'all spitting. Y'all on here spitting. Lolita, what you got?
I would just say we all have gifts and we were all born with gifts, and no gift is better than the other. Sometimes you may feel like, hey, I'm not a good singer, so I don't have a gift. Some of us were gifted with being organized and logistics. We need you here. Every gift is accepted and welcome because we need it. We all need to do the work if we're going to have people on the Northwest Side eat with dignity and choice.
Man, I love y'all. Yeah, Lolita, you just ate that right on up. Just ate that right on up. Just checking for any final questions. I don't see any. If y'all have questions, feel free to comment them on the live at any point. We have a communications consultant who will take a look and make sure those questions get to us. But I want to let y'all know some next steps because yes, I want to let y'all know how y'all can get involved. All of the gifts and all the skills are welcome. I totally agree. We need everybody at every level. So yes, let's see those next steps on screen. Angie, thank you so much. Angie's going to drop some links in the comments that support some of these asks. But one of the first things you can do, as I mentioned earlier, is just give us some feedback on our campaign plan. What do you think? What do you think about it? That only is going to help us strategize as we continue to run the campaign. As Delisha mentioned earlier, everything that we hear, we're keeping in mind as we're planning and running our campaign. So please give us some feedback. Second thing you could do, sign up for our Northwest Side newsletter. That is one place, one of many places where we're talking to people and giving them updates about what's the next place you can show up and join AART. What's the latest update on the campaign? How's it going? What's the last thing y'all did? What happened? What's next? If you want any of those updates, any of that type of information, you should definitely sign up for our Northwest Side newsletter. The third thing I'll offer specifically for this campaign is we want y'all to save a few dates. We are getting ready for March. March is when we will talk a little bit more with our members. I mentioned we have 100 plus. We're going to talk to as many of our members as possible about how to engage in this campaign and get them skilled up and ready to lead alongside the 3 folks you see on screen. And so the public offering that we want to engage folks in is a digital action. We're going to be polling on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. We're just going to be asking y'all some questions about the campaign. Again, to get at what does dignity and choice mean? Some other questions. But we want y'all to participate in those polling opportunities on social media to inform our work. So hold the dates, March 2nd, 9th, 16th, and 23rd. Those are the dates that polling questions are going up on Facebook and Instagram. And we want y'all to respond to those polling questions, okay? Next, in April, we are hosting a town hall. It'll be a big hoorah. A big opportunity for us to engage and get fired up about this campaign that we're launching in May. So hold April 25th on your calendar as well. Last date for you to hold around the campaign is the launch date, right? We're gearing up at this point. We're really just building momentum at this point. To launch on May 30th. We have some exciting ideas and exciting plan for how we'll launch. More details on that to come, but we want to make sure that you hold the May 30th date to launch. We're going to be outside. We're going to be outside and we're going to be getting after it. Let's go to our next slide. We're just about to wrap here a little bit early. If you're looking for the next place to join us, and if you like, you talking about members, Raisha, how do I become a member? Here's your opportunity. We are having a membership convening next weekend, next Friday and Saturday. It is an opportunity that we've been hosting annually for the last, I want to say 3-ish years. At the top of the year, just to engage our members around what's our plan for the year, what are we working on, to give them a little political education about what we're working on, for us to come together as a team of members, and really love each other and learn together and get fired up about the year. Though it says membership convening, it is open to the public, specifically the Black public. Our membership spaces are Black only spaces. The campaign is going to be a space where come one, come all, but membership is specifically for the development and engagement of Black people in Milwaukee. So if you are Black in the Milwaukee area and you want to get down with other Black people in the Milwaukee area and you want to be in space with AART, learn more about our work, see how you can get down. This membership convening is going to be a great place to do so. It's going to be in person. I think Friday night is usually like just a social opportunity, get together to hang out. And then Saturday we have a day of training, strategizing, learning, growing together. So I'm really excited about that offering. Angie is going to be dropping the memberships convening sign up link in the chat if she has not already. Other than that, I just want to thank y'all. We can go to our final slide. I just want to thank y'all so much for joining us. Thanks, Mrs. Tucker, Lolita, and Delisha for joining us and for y'all's wisdom. Again, I am so proud of y'all. I'm so excited to lead this work alongside y'all. And for those watching, share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live, spread the word, share the live. And then follow us on social media. Check out our website for more updates on the campaign and all of our work. And we'll see y'all soon. Have a good night, everybody.